Hi, Sela. Very nice having you here.
Thank you for having me.
I feel honored actually because I've been following you and I really enjoy the work you do. So I want to have a little conversation. And first, I want you to introduce yourself and say who you are and what you do.
Sure. First of all, thank you very much. I'm honored to be on your platform. And I also firstly want to acknowledge the work that you're doing in reaching out to people and being an emotional, uh, how do you say, unlocking coach.
Mm.
So you're doing a great job. So thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. A
Thank
little
you.
bit about me. Well, I'm really an average person, to be fair. I was born in Samoa, raised in Auckland, went to school in Auckland, primary and secondary. I'm not very good with my hands. I'm not really very good at a lot of things, but I find that I can communicate and I can articulate. So I think that's the road that God wanted me to go down. So I chose a career in media. So my background is media. And one of the reasons why I got into media was because I see myself as just an average person, an average Pacific person who has aspirations like many Pacific people. And the media is seen as a platform where people are placed of influence.
Mm.
So by going into this industry, I saw my role as, hey, if I can choose a career path in media and I can get qualified to be in media, then somebody looking at me who sees themselves, they can choose the same career path and know that they can make something of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I love that you are saying it loud because other people can hear and take a note, probably.
Yeah.
The other question I've asked you before, which we just started talking about, is you know what I do. And for me, it's very important to get every different person their own awareness that they want to live in this world after they've gone. But the way they want to share it for me is very important because your story can be told only through your lenses and no one else can do it. So it's important to hear it, and it's important to let the new generation hear it as well, because it's mainly for them that we want to live a better world. But what is it that bugs you in today's world and it's not working well, that if you could change today for the next generations to come, what would that be?
That's a really powerful statement and a question that I've actually answered, uh, not directly as that question, but my answer is very succinct to that point. And it's layered. My answers are layered here. So I'll try and get through them all. But to answer something that you said, the last bit of your question was, what bugs me? I think the most important thing for people and what I've seen on this short journey since losing my very close friend, yeah, and I'll talk about him shortly, is that I think for people, kids, my kids, even grown-ups, everybody, I think the most important thing is for people to believe that they're enough, that they're good enough, that they're smart enough, that they're pretty enough. Enough, not just pretty enough, good enough, that they're enough. Because once, I want to reference Brené Brown. Are you familiar with Brené Brown? She's an amazing psychologist. Yeah, amazing. I think she's wonderful. So I'm actually stealing some of her words here, but they're really relevant. And when you believe that you're enough, in that statement, I am enough, that statement alone is strong and powerful. When you believe that you're enough, you stop screaming. There's less noise in the world. There's less questioning.
Yeah.
And you start listening because you believe that I am enough. And then you start listening. And then what happens as a result is you become more kinder and gentler to the people around you, but more importantly, you become kinder and gentler, or more gentle to yourself. And that's really, really important, that people believe that they're enough, and that they believe and they know that they can be kind and gentle to themselves. Because once that happens, then you can allow others to see and feel your kind spirit. I think that's what bugs me the most, is that people don't believe that they're enough.
No.
However, I also understand the challenges that face different people. It's easy to say, I'm enough. That's easy to say for some people. But for some people, it's really hard to say. And I totally appreciate that. And that's where there's services out there. There are good people out there. Surround yourself with people who can be honest with you, who can give you and instill the good words that you need to hear to be able to say that you're enough. Yeah.
Do you think that what you're addressing, the being enough and being more compassionate towards others, comes from worthiness as well? How you feel about yourself? Do you think this is the core for what you're explaining?
Yeah. When I mentioned that my response is layered, that's one part of the layer. Here's another part.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to impress upon parents. I'm a parent, right? I'm a parent of 3 beautiful children. And this is again to Brené Brown. She's cool, very, very cool. We need as parents to accept that our kids are hardwired for struggle. They're not perfect. Our kids are not perfect. My job isn't to make my 13-year-old daughter pass university papers right now, to pass NCA level 2. My job isn't to make my 17-year-old son an All Black right now. Our job, because that's not our job. Our job as parents is to say, you know what, son, you're not perfect. You're hardwired for struggle. You're going to go through these struggles. But guess what? You are worthy of love, and you belong.
Yeah.
That's our job, to tell our kids. Now, listen, again, that's easy to say, and I believe in that wholeheartedly. Yeah. But trust me, Adriana, when I say this, I even struggle with that, and I have to constantly remind myself, because you as a parent, you want your kids to achieve. You want your kids to excel, overachieve and excel. But you also got to remind yourself, hey man, that's not our job as parents. We got to tell them that, you know what, son, you're not perfect, but you are worthy of my love, and you are worthy of belonging.
Yes.
That sets the foundation as a parent for your child. Okay. And that's what I believe is really, really important. And then around that as a parent, and how do I try to be today for my kids, is the word vulnerability. Yeah. There's a perception that vulnerability is a weakness. I don't see it as a weakness. It's very much a strength, because it gives you a power for people to see you, how you really are, for people to see inside your soul. There's another quote that I'd like to say, that vulnerability is the last thing people look for in you, but it's the first thing you look for in somebody else. Yeah. Some people don't want to see vulnerability in me, but as a vulnerable person, I want you to be vulnerable. I want you to let your guard down, so it allows me to open up to you.
Totally.
And and so I try and be an open book. There's nothing I hide from my children. I talk openly and honestly about whatever they need, whatever I need for them to know, my emotions. And also I try to do the same in my walk of life. Now, that has come about as a result of losing my personal friend. Yeah. So poor, he took his life in 2019. Okay. His 2-year anniversary is coming up on May 11. So it's not too far away.
Wow.
And so he's a very, very important part of my life. And I actually, I miss him terribly, but I also think about the value he brought to my life with the years that he had with me, as opposed to missing him because he's gone.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So because of losing him, it's allowed me to open up a little bit more, to be able to share stories and really, really inspire and empower people, and empower Maori and Pacific in particular, and our young men in particular as well, who feel like they can't be vulnerable, to be able to believe that they're enough, to be able to let their guard down, and to know that they're not perfect and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you for sharing that. And as you said, you learn a lot from those very sad times, especially when you lose somebody. It's the most vulnerable time, as you expressed it. But if you share it, not many people want to share those things, and they want to bury them, which becomes either a disease, a mental or health issue. It's sort of a health issue.
It's a
But
big weight. Yeah.
it's a huge, huge thing. Not many of us know how to move on and how to open up. But
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And as I mentioned before, that's people's journeys are different. People deal with it differently, uh, and I totally understand. I totally understand how a weight of something that big can hold somebody down, especially if they lose a loved one. Um, I'm just talking about my experience and how I've dealt with it, and opening up and being able to talk through things. Also, my faith has been a major support mechanism for me. Where I'm coming from is a place of believing that you shouldn't be held accountable to anything. You should believe that where you are and what you are right here and now is enough.
Yeah.
Is enough. You don't have to listen to other people tell you otherwise. Yeah.
But
I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. And we are going to that cycle of, again, am I good enough to be enough?
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. To that right there, I'll take away, am I good enough? And just say, I'm enough.
Yeah.
Right
But
here
that's
and now, enough.
the first thing that comes to any human. And that's our struggles, if I can call it, to be honest with ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely. We're always saying to ourselves, am I good enough for this? Why aren't I good enough to get that job? Or why aren't I good enough to be in a band or whatever? And you're absolutely right. It's our first go-to. And I don't get me wrong, we all struggle with it. We're human beings. We're not perfect, so we all struggle with that. But if you come from that place where you take away the, am I smart enough? Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? And just believe in who you are right now.
Yeah.
Then that's a good place. You know what? That also starts from a place of hope as well. I'm a big believer in hope. I think everybody has a role to play in being hopeful. Whether they think they are or not, they are hope. It's amazing what can happen once you choose hope.
Yeah.
Once you choose hope, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything.
Totally agree with you. Yeah. And what you said about your children is how we see every day how parents go. We do it sometimes too. In the way of supporting them, you want to tell them they're good, they're the best, but that is not helping them. And as you were saying, let them struggle a little bit, let them experience a little bit of pain, because that's what's going to form them as who they're really going to be. Isn't it funny?
It's real funny, man. Yeah, we're born into this world hardwired to struggle. You find your feet. It's just you fail, you fall, and you get back up again.
Yeah.
But as parents, you always are saying to your kids, you are good enough. You're
Yeah.
listen, don't worry about that. You're good enough to achieve this. You're good enough to swim that race. Believe me, you know. And we do that, but kids will go through their own struggle, and we just got to make sure again that our job is to make sure that we just tell them that they're worthy of love and belonging.
Yeah, and give them that love, because that will give them both. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for that.